compliment Anil and Rekha and MEPSC for setting up this event. We have lots of conferences focused on quality, technology, manufacturing, even service excellence, but rarely focus on a subject as critical as the one we are addressing today. We just heard from Jayant the need for us to focus on skills. I'm not sure there is a need for us to discuss the very need for this. It's actually blindingly clear. If you look at where we are as a nation today, the two biggest challenges we face, one, 200 plus million people living in abject poverty, and two, our real test is to see whether we have the ability to create economic opportunities, productive and sustainable economic opportunities and jobs for the millions of young people who reach the age that they're ready to work. The number being bandied about right now is 1 million new jobs required in India month on month, every month for the next 15 months. Is that correct, Dr. Krishnan? We're talking about 1 million new jobs. I think the number is actually much larger, by the way. Because what is going to happen, in some sense already has started. Indian industry wants to stand up and be counted. It wants to be globally competitive. To be globally competitive, we will have to be more productive and more efficient. So what does that mean? We will use more robotics, more automation, more computerization, more intelligent systems, more big data, which means in the current space, manufacturing industries as it gets more efficient will lose some jobs. Agriculture as it gets more productive, as it needs to, will lose jobs. Services as it uses more automation will also lose jobs. So we have to find productive placement for all of these individuals, not just the new young people. Which also means that the kind of skills that we're able to impart to our people need to be those which also adapt to change. We've often heard the adage that the only constant in life is change. The reality is the pace of change itself is changing. And it's changing at a blinding pace right now. There was a time we used to talk of Moore's law, of the ability of computing going up. It's now happening in equipment, in intelligence machines, and machine learning, in all kinds of areas around us. With the kind of technology available today, with communication available in the manner it is, the ability to learn something which is being done thousands of miles away is real. It's here. Indian companies, through IT-enabled services, through BPO companies, have already been serving the needs of clients and customers around the globe. So it is clear that knowledge will transfer very, very rapidly, which will become a challenge if industry is not able to adapt to the new changes taking place. And therefore, we need not just to impart the current traditional skills that we're using, but also the ability to adapt to the new ones which will be required in the future. Some of them we can foresee right now. Futurologists have never had a time like this, actually. I was talking to somebody the other day, that when do you think the cell phone was actually conceived? They say you go back and look at the Star Trek movies. When were these movies started? When was it conceived? They were using cell phones, by the way, in that movie. Long before anybody had a comprehension of what this is. They were talking of teleportation, which in some manner and form is currently under study right now. Alvin Toffler wrote a book many decades ago on what we can hope to see in our own future, in our lifetimes, and certainly beyond our lifetimes. So we have these dramatic changes taking place right now. People are going to live longer. It's now pretty common knowledge that at least the next generation, not the current one, the next generation will have an average age of 100 years. They will have a different quality of life because of equipment, transportation, and technology that will be available. I hope by then we can clean up the environment, because that would be a real disaster if we cannot. But there is enough technology available. The tools are available for us to clean up the environment. We have to figure out how to make it commercially viable so that you can spread this across the globe. And we must. That is the real answer. The things that we start now should be sustainable from day one. The reason I'm mentioning these, this is not anything to do directly with skills and training or management or entrepreneurship. But at the same time, it has everything to do with it. What we teach today has to be sustainable in every aspect of the world. In how we reach out to ecology, how we reach out to communities around us. Our communication has changed. Our children communicate completely different from the way that we did when we were young. And this will change, it is expected, even further as we go down the road. So if India wants to be amongst the leading nations in the world, this is an aspect we have no choice but to address. So which is why I said I'd like to compliment both of you for setting up this conference. I think it's about time we bring the awareness or wake ourselves up to the need for this on a much, much wider platform than we have been doing right now. Very often, this is a subject, the skills, which is delegated to one department, either in the personnel or some companies in the HR department. More and more companies are now saying, this is the CEO's job, not anybody else's. Which is why, when the MEPSC was being set up, we had some internal debate ourselves, whether we should try and cover such a wide range of areas and subjects. Then we said, if you look at them, they all have a bearing on the other, and they're all a crying need right now. Vocational skills is not new. India has done it for a while. But are we doing it efficiently enough? And are we doing enough for our need? And we heard the numbers from Jayan, so I will not go into the numbers myself. But it's clear that we need to push down the age at which we make vocational skills accessible to young people. There is a new policy now, I'm not sure if it's completed or it's still in the pipeline, and vocational skills will be available to schools in class 7 and 8 onwards to be taught to those who choose to adapt to vocational skills. Not everybody will go to university, but everybody does need the requisite skills for a productive job. Even if they have to become entrepreneurs themselves, which we do need, by the way. I'll just take a minute on entrepreneurship, why that is critical today for India, more than it has ever been. By its very nature, India has been a globally trading nation right through history. It's a well-known fact that we were an important trading nation going back millennia, not just centuries. But we did lose our way about 350 years ago. When the British came in, what happened to India was actually interesting. If somebody does a study on this, they came into a country which was very, very prosperous, was doing 21% world trade as a single nation, and that had a significant part of the global GDP as well. They came in doing 1% world trade. In 1947, they left doing 21% world trade. So it was all economic activity or value addition was sucked out of India into the UK, or Great Britain as it was then called. And we allowed ourselves to go down the same path for too long. But our history traders, of business people. And people are industrious. Given the opportunities, Indians have done exceedingly well around the world. And today, when we need to create millions and millions of new jobs, where will they come from? The largest number of jobs will come from new enterprises. A large number of jobs will come from the informal sector. A large number of jobs will come from small and mid-sized enterprises as they grow. Which is why it is also important that our policy towards tiny, micro, small and medium enterprises has to change. It must discourage them to remain small. It must encourage growth. Currently the policy is if you remain small, I will give you a support and subsidy. The moment you go up, next step, I'm going to take that away from you. So please don't grow. It's almost like a message you're giving people. So what happens? As companies reach that limit, they will set up a second or a third or a fourth unit. Without getting any advantage of scale, you create a large number of small industries where your actual overheads goes up. Each time you create a new unit, new administration, new security, new management. We need to figure out a way to make this transition both seamless and painless, in fact, to encourage it. And that, I think, is how we create new jobs. One more area which offers great potential but has not received any attention so far is the creative industries in India. The traditional creative industry of the arts and crafts of India. If you go across the nation, all across the country, you have such amazing skills available. The artisans of India had a great component in the overall GDP of this nation even 100 years ago. That has slipped to near nothing. Globally, this is a $103 billion industry. In India, it is a $7 billion industry. There is potential for us to get in there, and most of it, as it happens to be the rural areas, traditional skills which are passed down generations. We need to teach them how to package better, how to produce better, how the logistics should be handled, and get those products to the best markets in the world. And I believe the spillover effect can impact at least 100 million people in India. And this is what we need. We need new ideas. Of course, we need to do more of what we are doing, but we also need to tap into areas that are not tapped so far. And I believe if we look hard enough, grow areas like healthcare, those which have high requirement of people involvement, rather than only capital-intensive industries. Capital-intensive industries have to grow, of course. But that's not enough for us to grow a country like ours. After the automotive industry, home construction is the largest multiplier in terms of 154 industries are directly connected to it, and many more indirectly. Plus, it has a massive social benefit. All our policies in India so far have militated against it, including providing funding to this industry, formal funding. So I think there is a need for us to look at some of our policy initiatives as we look at creating a much more proficient, a much more efficient, and a much more forward-looking India. The awareness seems to be there. I think we are primed. The government is focused sharply in creating new sector skills councils which can go out and provide these skills. They are reaching out across the country and creating training partners who in turn have their local networks. I think this is a wonderful way to do this. But we have to ensure compliance of quality all the time. That our trainers are properly trained, the equipment we use is right, is contemporary, forward-looking, the environment in which we train people is right, and at the same time, we also impart some values of integrity, ethics, and that's not new. If you think back, what did we learn from our forefathers? Was values are important. And this is sorely required today in India. That as we train people in soft skills, in attitude, etiquette, communication skills, that we also train them about values. In fact, I think it should be compulsory in all kinds of training, education. We've actually tried this both in our schools and in our university. We've made this a compulsory credit for everybody to learn. Without this credit, you will not get a degree. We added a few more around this, including doing physical, social work, etc., for us to get a little bit of empathy. In a nation, on the kind of nation that we live in, with the extreme diversity we have to have a broad, open mind, acceptance of differences, and empathy for those who are not as fortunate as us. And there are millions of them. And I think that, along with technology, equipment, and hardcore curriculum, will create for us the best situation that we can imagine, and will create the India of our dreams. Thank you very much, and good luck.